So, white folks thought that poverty was a black problem until it happened to them. When I say poverty, it's indeed poverty, true poverty. They are now complaining that they are broke. And I'm not saying that black folks ain't broke or something. No. I want you to understand from the perspective of America. America has two realities. The first reality is America is for white folks. See, when white people say make America great again, what do they mean is that bring back its a nostalgia of a life that they used to live. But this is not the same with black folks. Black folks cannot say that make America great again because they are looking back and they're not seeing anything positive to look back into. So it leaves you with two questions. Make America great. For who? When was America great? For black folks. Those are two critical questions. But then we talk about something that is critically important and it's happening today. Majority of white folks are learning that poverty was not just a black problem. And normally, I do use my reference to what happened during the Bacchus Rebellion in the 18th century when they created the concept of whiteness. See, they gave white folks privileged. And it's an inflated lie. It made them feel that they are great. It made them feel that they can have anything that they want. So at the back of their mind, they never thought that there would be something like poverty that can happen to black folks. Can happen to them. They changed black folks to be their servants, so they never expected that something like this would happen to them. Nobody warned them something that was awaiting to them. Fast forward, the year 2024, election happened. Full blown, they came to learn the hard way what is really happening. They came to learn that indeed, they can also go through all those difficult times, all those things that they thought that it was a black problem only. Pull yourself by the bootstraps ain't pulling itself right now. It's also pulling to them. Brothers and sisters, I want us to watch this video. It is a perfect example of what I told you, that when you think that poverty is only a black problem, then you don't know what awaits for you. Let's get into it. I'll be back with my thoughts and commentaries in regards to this. I'm your host and presenter Inchinook Stories.
Americans are getting poorer and it's getting harder to make ends meet. Those aren't opinions, those are facts.
Bro, I'm not gonna fucking make it in this fucking world because, tell me why I just went to fucking Kroger's and got groceries. I just got paid today. My last fucking paycheck. And I spent $73 fucking dollars on popcorn, crackers, Cheez-Its, milk, ranch dressing, tomatoes. Just basic shit, man. A box of fucking Cheez-Its and a box of fucking crackers was $5 a fucking piece. The ranch dressing was fucking $5. The tomatoes were $4. The milk is $7 a gallon and my kid drinks 3 gallons a week. That's $20 fucking dollars. How the fuck did I barely get any goddamn food and it's $73 fucking dollars? What the fuck am I gonna do?
A lot of us aren't getting poorer. A lot of us are making more money than we've ever made. We're getting poorer because our grocery prices are astronomical. Our rent prices are astronomical. The mortgage rates are astronomical. Car rates, astronomical. Everything that we need to survive is being hiked up astronomically. It's almost like they're trying to get rid of the middle class. But why would they do something like that? Why would a country not want its citizens to be well-fed, well-educated, and thriving? I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe we just crumble this economy to the ground. Let's hoard every single cent that we possibly can. Keep it out of the banks. I don't know, and let's just see what happens. Anyone have any other plans? Because I know personally, I live very modestly. This right here, this is not my home. If you watch my other videos, you'll see my home. Watch the one right before this. That's my kitchen. I'm an artist, but I also have plenty of other work. And I do all right. Our family is making more money than we've ever made. We don't even qualify for any assistance anymore. Lucky us. But guess what? Now we also can't afford healthcare. And now, turns out we also can't afford to pay our student loans back. We've been paying on those for years. But I just found out that they hiked mine up because we make more money now to a price that we can't afford. Hundreds of dollars because we make so much more money now. Almost like they want us to be poor because then at least we'd have some health care and could afford to pay off our student loans.
Ranked as the second most financially distressed state in the entire country. Only where Texas is worse. It's not just an opinion. This comes straight from Google data. So what does financially distressed mean? It means more people are struggling to pay their bills, searching for payday loans, rent help, credit card relief, you name it. They are going to Google for help. And Floridians are struggling to survive here. And let's be real, it's not just hard to see why. Rents in Florida have skyrocketed. Groceries and insurance are completely out of control. Wages really haven't kept up. Families are working 2, sometimes 3 full-time jobs and still can't get ahead. Meanwhile, Florida politicians brag about cutting taxes for the wealthy and corporations while everyday people are drowning. And in Texas, where things are even worse, it's the same story. Leadership that ignores working class struggles while protecting big business. Now, this matters because these states are often held up by models of economic success. But the reality is people are just being left behind, and the data proves it. If the so-called Florida model is leaving people broke, maybe it's time we rethink what success really looks like. Be sure to follow along for updates.
The U.S. economy is in big trouble. Let's talk about bankruptcies. Wow. 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 In the first half of 2026, the first quarter, January, February, March 2026, bankruptcies skyrocketed 14%. 131,573 personal bankruptcies, commercial bankruptcies, 8,436. Chapter 7 bankruptcy rose 17%. Chapter 13 bankruptcy went up 8%. And the worst of all, ready for this? Chapter small business bankruptcies went up 67%. If you didn't know, small business is 98% of business in the USA. It's not large businesses. Small business makes up 98% of the US economy. We are in an economic crisis. The economy is collapsing every single day. This is 100% self-inflicted, and it's done by one man. Now, this all started to happen before the Iran war. This is going to be catastrophic for the USA. If you found this post sad but informative, please like, comment, follow, and share. You need to keep up with the U.S. economy.
The United States incentivizes poor people to stay poor, and one of the ways it does that is through Medicaid, the government-funded public health insurance available to low-income families. Medicaid is mostly funded and operated by the states, so the eligibility varies by state, but I will talk about it in national averages just for the sake of simplification. But keep in mind that in some states, especially in the South, Medicaid is far more difficult to receive than what I'm about to describe. On average, Medicaid is only available to Americans who make less than 138% of the federal poverty line. In 2024, the federal poverty line was about $15,000 a year for an individual or $31,000 a year for a family of 4. So to be eligible for Medicaid, an individual would have to make less than $21,000 a year, and a family of 4 would have to make less than $43,000. Now, on average, individual Americans spend about $14,000 a year on healthcare. So if you are an individual making $22,000 a year, you do not qualify for Medicaid in most states, and therefore you would be spending about 2/3 of your income on healthcare alone. A family of 4 with a household income of $45,000 would not even have enough money to cover healthcare costs, let alone any other costs of living. For some people, remaining below 138% of the federal poverty line is the only way they can receive healthcare. Otherwise, they have to choose between not getting healthcare at all and risking their life, or literally going bankrupt trying to pay for it. And this isn't freeloading, it's literally the only way that some Americans can survive. Medicaid is actually a great program with a lot of potential, but it is so underfunded, and I believe the eligibility requirements are far too low and keep some families stuck in poverty with no hopes of ever escaping it. In 1962, healthcare costs only made up about 5% of American GDP, and it skyrocketed to 17% in 2022 when healthcare became a $4.5 trillion industry. Americans spend more money on healthcare than any other country in the world, yet we have the worst health outcomes than any other developed nation. This country is broken in so many ways, but healthcare is one of the biggest issues.
Like, what happens when the economy goes completely belly up and everything is absolutely too expensive to just exist? Because right now, it's almost impossible to be able to afford an apartment, to afford car insurance, to afford gas. Like, $100 for your cell phone every month, $80 just for internet service. Like, what happens when we just can't afford to live? Because as a single income household, this shit is damn near impossible right now.
Okay, serious question real quick. How are we supposed to afford life? I have 3 kids. What? And my husband and I both have full-time incomes, and I still am puzzled. Like, it's an enigma. Like, for real, why? I just left Walmart and got the bare minimum for groceries, like bare minimum, and cheap stuff. Baby, we ain't eating salmon and steak, baby. We eating hamburger helper, some Doritos, like we getting like the Dino Nuggies, okay? Great value brand. Now, I did get 3 pairs of kids shoes because my kids are starting back to school and they need some new sneakers. But tell me why I got the bare minimum in groceries and 3 pairs of sneakers, and I'm coming out just shy of $300. There's no way. This is crazy. Like, I had children on the understanding that if I worked hard and put my pennies away, that we would be okay. And now I'm feeling not okay. And then my intrusive thoughts just come in and they start thoughting, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I have 3 kids that are all very close together, which means they're all going to be in college at the same time. How in the world am I supposed to send them to college? Now, don't get me wrong. I know that, like, it's completely normal for people to just take out student loans and do all that, but I was lucky enough that my mother paid my way through college semester by semester, like the strong single mom she is, by making sacrifices because she didn't want me to have all that debt. And while I am not naive enough to know that I may not be able to do that for 3 children, I still hope to be able to help, you know, ease that burden. And I'm like, huh? How? Literally how? Mama, I don't know how much harder mama can hustle, okay? Mama is making the moolah, and the moolah is not spreading thinly, and I can't make it reach all corners. That's crazy.
Good morning, kids and humans under 40. I want to show you something based on my last text. Don't get loud with me. The average rent in Massachusetts is $29.63 a month. Do not say that this is just Boston area. This is not even luxury. These are towns. There you go. Is another site. Studio average is a studio. $2,396. That does not include utilities. 1 bedroom, $25.57. 2 bedroom, $29.63. Follow me for a second. Average income in Massachusetts per person is $48,593. You are supposed to make 3 times the rent in Massachusetts to have an apartment. If you were to make 3 times the rent in Massachusetts at $29.63 times 3, that's going to bring you to $8,889 a month. Ready? We're not done. Since y'all like to do math or yell at me for not doing math. That is $106,000 a year. Are you making $106,000 a year? And before you get on here with your 25 and under attitude saying, oh, we'll just pick a better degree. Some of these people have been in their careers for 20 years. And what was paying $65,000 10 years ago is still paying $65,000, and it's no longer a good job.
I saw this video on here and she was like, what is a normal two-income household nowadays. And I was reading through the comments, which I shouldn't have done. But me and my husband are blessed. We make good money, but yet we still struggle because we are essentially paying 3 mortgages every single month. We have our actual mortgage, we have our student loan debt, which my husband has a doctorate degree and I have a master's degree, so you can only imagine. And we also have daycare for 2 kids, which is a small mortgage. So literally over half of our income goes just to those 3 things. We're not talking about food, we're not talking about cars, we're not talking about insurances, we're not talking about savings, we're not talking about utilities, we're not talking about like clothing our kids, diapers.
I live in Virginia, and in Virginia, even if you own your vehicle, you still have to pay taxes on it every single year. It's called personal property taxes, and it can affect your cars, trailers that you have, campers, RVs, boats, anything along the lines of that. Even though you pay taxes on it when you purchase it, you are still going to pay taxes on it every single year, even if it's paid off. The area that I live in, we get 1 bill a year, and it is due at the end of every year, right around Christmas time. There are other areas that get a bill twice a year, so they have 2 smaller bills throughout the course of the year. So let's review our bill because it just came in the mail yesterday. The way it works is the county gets an assessed value for your item. So whether that's your car, camper, whatever it is, they give you an assessed value. And then there is a rate per $100 that you pay. This year's rate is $2.35 per $100 of the piece of property that you own. And then they charge you per month that you own that item. So if you had your car for 12 months, they're going to charge you for 12 months. If you owned it for 6 months and then got a different car, they'll charge you for the first 6 months for the first car and then the second 6 months for the second car. I had to fold this so you guys couldn't see my personal information. But for us to own our personal property in the state of Virginia this year.
Growing up poor gives you PTSD. And nobody talks about that part. You know, a lot of times people think, you know, you could only get PTSD if you go through something like war. But that's not true. Poverty is actually usually the first exposure that most of us have to PTSD. Think about this. If you grew up poor, your nervous system never relaxed, ever. You learn really early, like we all did, that stability is important. That food could run out, that lights get cut off, rent might be late, and that nobody is coming to save you. So when you start doing better, your body doesn't believe that. See, your body still remembers the trauma of growing up in poverty. That's why some of us hoard food. I was thinking about that this morning. We were talking on live, and I said that because I thought about that. That's why some of us hoard food. That's why some of us don't trust money. That's why. That's why some of us are in survival mode no matter what. Like we always operate from the mindset of just surviving. A lot of us never healed from the PTSD, from the trauma of poverty. We were just expected to do better. Like once we were no longer in that economic situation, we were just expected to just act like it's all good now. So when people ask you, why do you think like that? Why are you so anxious? Why are you always preparing for the worst? Because the poverty taught us that the worst wasn't imaginary. And even when you leave poverty, poverty don't leave you. If this hits you, you ain't broken. You're responding exactly how somebody who survived would.
So I understand that the coffers are officially bare. America is broke. Like for real, like when you look at the numbers, I mean, okay, I know I've mentioned this about the debt several times in previous videos, but when you hear it spelled out like America has $6 trillion in assets and almost $49 trillion in debt, who's keeping the motherfucking books? Like, I don't even understand. I think that these folks and these governments, they just been taking money out. Like, I know a lot of things go unpaid for. They keep kicking the can down the road. But if poor money management was a country, damn. I promise you, I know that this bitch is just having like a liquidation sale. Some kind of way he monetizing everything, but this puts things in perspective. Like, I knew at 37, they were like, well, we have enough money to pay the interest on our debt, which is always fucked up. If that's all you're paying is like the interest on your debt or your minimum payment. Like, I don't even understand how somebody with 6 bankruptcies can ever be considered to run a nation with the $30 trillion plus of debt we already had. None of this shit makes sense. And it's curious why Americans keep saying that we the richest country in the world. How is that possible with that kind of debt? Rich in what? Rich in lies? Rich in hypocrisy? Rich in what?
All right, so look, let me tell you the truth that don't nobody want to say out loud. American citizens are being priced out of existence, and more people have stopped paying bills than they want to admit. Now, I'm not talking about just a few people slipping through the cracks. I'm saying that the cracks have widened so big that whole communities are slipping through them. And this isn't about laziness. This is not a problem of bad budgeting. Well, sometimes it's bad budgeting, but you get what I'm saying. The problem is beyond budgeting. What it's really about is an economy that has been stretched past its breaking point. The cost of survival has been raised higher than human beings can reach. Think about your own life. You go to work, you get paid, rent takes the whole check before you get your next breath out. Just instantly, boom, gone. You walk into the grocery store with money in your pocket, and then you walk out the grocery store with 2 little ass bags that barely last a week. Maybe a couple days if you're lucky. You stand at the gas pump and you watch the numbers spin and rise faster than your paycheck ever will. You go to the mailbox and it's nothing but more demand, more bills, and more weight you can't carry. And this cycle repeats itself day after day, month after month, year after year. And people are tired. Not just physically tired, people are burned out. We are, after all, living in a global burnout crisis. People are drained in the body. People are drained in the mind. People are drained in the soul. For years, they just told us to push harder, to rise and grind, to believe in our potential. But they never once acknowledged our limits. They never once acknowledged that human beings are not machines. They ignored the exhaustion. They ignored the collapse. They ignore the fact that we are working harder than ever in an economy that gives us less and less in return. And we've tried everything. Payday loans, side hustles, payment plans, extensions, rearranging due dates, running up them credit cards, borrowing from family, selling time, selling energy, selling our peace of mind. Every door has been knocked on. Every option has been exhausted. And no matter what you try, it's never enough. Because there isn't enough. Because the system was never built so that you can win. The system was designed for us to fail. And this is what it means to be priced out of existence. To give everything you have and still not be able to cover the basics. To work yourself to the bone and still fall behind. To live in a society where survival is set at a price that ordinary people cannot afford. And when you realize that, something shifts inside of you. You begin to see the truth. The dollar is hollow. It's not protection. It's not freedom. It's not wealth. It's a leash. A leash they use to keep you obedient. A leash they tighten while telling you to smile and be grateful for what you got. And you finally understand that the bills will never stop. Because the bills are the point. The bills are the chain. So people stop. People are stopping. Quietly, but people are stopping. They stop paying rent to buy food instead. They let the car go. They let the credit card rot. People just stop answering the phone. And it's not because they don't care. It's just that they care more about being alive than paying these companies or these banks. They care more about feeding their kids instead. You know what I'm saying? They care more about not losing their minds under the weight of all this unrealistic pressure. Here's the secret that they don't want you to know. More people than you think have already made that choice. But this country, it only adds more chaos, more fuel to the fire. We got tariffs tossed around like dice. Trade wars shaking every price tag. We got groceries going up, clothes going up, medicine going up, appliances, utilities, everything you touch is going up in price. One man's ego turned into millions of people's pain. That's not leadership. That is dictatorship energy. Living here in America has become unpredictable. You don't know what tomorrow will cost. You don't know what new rule or what new tantrum is going to make surviving tomorrow even harder. Look around. The signs are everywhere. Empty storefronts. You got families crammed together, doubling up, tripling up sometimes, just so everybody can have a place to live. Workers are taking on 2 and 3 jobs, hustling every hour of the day just to fall deeper and deeper into debt. This is beyond struggle. This is erasure. Citizens aren't just broke. They are being erased. We are being priced out of existence intentionally. And here's the part you never hear on the news. The rebellion has already begun. And it doesn't look like protests. It doesn't look like riots. It looks like silence. It looks like people saying no in private. It looks like families feeding themselves instead of paying rent. It looks like envelopes just left unopened. It looks like millions of people withdrawing from a system that no longer has anything to offer them. And that is the rebellion that this empire fears the most. Not rage in the streets, not loud slogans, but the refusal to believe. Because once you see the dollar for what it is, once you see that that bill is just a piece of paper, then you can never unsee it. And once enough people stop believing, then this illusion collapses. The empire, America, will call it irresponsibility. But what's more irresponsible? A family choosing to survive over fueling a rigged system? Or a government that spends billions on wars, on bailouts for billionaires, on corporate greed, while its citizens are burned out, tired, and broken? So let's be clear. They told us if we worked hard, if we followed the rules, then we'd be safe. But the truth is undeniable now. American citizens have been priced out of existence, and more of us have already stopped paying than they will ever admit. That's not just a statistic, that's a quiet revolution. Every exhausted body that says no, every unpaid bill that refuses obedience, every family that chooses life over debt. These are not failures. These are votes of no confidence in this empire. Proof that the spell is breaking. So when they ask what happened to the American dream, tell them that the people woke up. Tell them that the people ran out of options. Tell them that the people stopped paying. And that is how empires fall. Not always with fire raining down from the sky, but with silence at the kitchen table. It's not always with noise, but with millions of voices whispering the same truth. And that truth is, we will not pay for our own erasure because we've already been priced out. We are tired. We are done. And we will no longer pretend otherwise.
Majority of the times, I do say that white folks are the most played group of people. Yes, the most played. You can turn your Spotify. You'll still find that white folks are the most played group of people. I told you so. You could turn your Spotify. Most played. And all of this was orchestrated for them to fall into this trap. And I told you, I normally use an example of what indeed happened during the Bacons Rebellion. When you get to understand what really happened during the Bacons Rebellion, it is a reminiscence of a lie, an inflated lie that was given to white people, a privilege that could not be sustainable. And now when we're seeing things that are happening right now, all those privileges that they were given, they were told to believe that they are better than black people. So at the back of their minds, they never saw that poverty could be a problem. Today, one of the greatest countries, one of the greatest places where people thought that there will be life, American dream, turned into American nightmare. America started becoming a laughing stock. People started seeing the United States as a joke. one of the greatest superpowers indeed, military might that they had, the prowess in military that they had, the savior, how people looked at them. But look, they become a laughing stock because America, you cannot go and save somebody out there. While your country, people are crying. While you take the resources that belong to the American citizens. Now it's not a country. It's becoming a corporation where people value profit. And that's how the elites played the game. Right? Right now, it doesn't matter whether you're black or white. Baby, you are going through difficult times. And this is really happening to you. It is something that you cannot run away from. Black folks try to warn you. They try to warn you. You could say that they never warned you, or you could say that, or probably you could not listen to, a black person trying to warn you, trying to tell you about all these things. But the reality of the matter is that you came to learn that you are the cause of your predicament. You are the cause of your predicament. You are the one who caused all this predicament to yourself because you chose racism. You chose the privilege. And that's what those people did during the Bacchus Rebellion. And that's the same damn thing that you repeated. And so look at the patterns. You are getting, or you are starting to see something that I'm talking about. Right? Black folks warned you about Trump because they knew that something was amiss. They knew that all this was going to happen. But because of greed, but because you decided to choose racism, you couldn't see. You couldn't allow this to just go on because at the end of the day, whiteness is so much important to you. Now you are seeing the results of the choices that you all decided to make. And now you are learning the hard way. As the saying goes, experience is the best teacher. Black folks have lived this for the longest time. So when they told you to stay away from Mr. Donald Trump, they definitely knew what they were trying to warn you. What they were trying to tell you that all these things was going to be going wrong. So it's upon you to understand. It's upon you to see the reality of the matter. You cannot say that you were never warned. Black folks warned you. And they warned you. They warned you that all this was going to come to happen. And brothers and sisters, we are seeing these things happening. Honestly, I really don't know what you'll think about this, but it is happening. It is happening, and they are seeing the reality of the matter. They are seeing the truth. They are all seeing all these things that are happening. Right? So it is upon you to learn, take the warnings. You are told that all this was going to happen, but at least you never paid attention. Why didn't you pay attention? Because to you, it is something that probably couldn't help you. So you decided to follow your path. And it's definitely okay, but see where it has led you. Brothers and sisters, I don't have much to say, but please let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Engineering Stories. I'm hoping to always see you in my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.